A killer calls his victims and then kills them. Will Cindy Campbell save her friends and herself from him? You'll have to stick around to the end to see how the whole story unfolds. Hello and welcome to Comedy Recap. Today we will give you a recap of the film Scary Movie. Spoilers ahead, obviously. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. The movie starts with a blonde girl, Drew, in her house alone making popcorn. She gets a call from a masked killer who threatens her by watching her. He lies to her about standing at her front porch, after which she cautiously then walks over there, opens her door, and starts blindly swinging her bat. She then realizes that he was standing behind her with a knife. She then runs off to escape him, and he ran after her. He gets his chance and stabs her, but unfortunately stabbed her breast implant, which saved her. She again escaped and screamed at her father, who had just arrived in his car. Her father drove over her without realization, while his wife was giving him a good time in the car. Now we see Cindy working in her room when Bobby, who is her friend, climbs from the pipe outside to her room. Cindy quickly hides him as her father approached her room's door. He asked about hearing some noise, which Cindy denied knowing about. They joked about when later he left. Bobby kissed her and tried to enter her lower base, where she denied him and made him leave. Now we see a school bus arriving on a bright sunny day. Brenda and Shorty, who have the same mother, walk out of the bus and joke with each other. Brenda then met with Cindy, who made her wait for Buffy. All three girls met and then proceeded to walk around the school. There was also an interviewer there who was reporting about the recent deaths that had occurred at the school. The girls then went inside the school and met with two more male friends, Ray and Greg. Bobby later arrived and met with the rest. They discussed the deaths that had occurred when Cindy told them that this reminded her of the accident that happened with them some time ago. We then see a flashback in which Bobby is driving the car at night. Cindy is in the front seat while both the other couples were in the back making out. One of the friends decided to get out of the car roof to enjoy the breezing air and accidentally stepped over Cindy's head, making her give head to Bobby, who lost control of the car and hit a man. The friends panicked and were planning what to do with the body. Cindy advised them to call the cops, while the rest figured to dispose of the body.
Not necessary.
Now you're thinking.
Come on, it'll be all right.
They put the body in the car's trunk and then disposed of it by throwing it in the lake. They then agreed to have a pact to not tell anyone about this. We then see the school again, where the reporter is looking to interview one of the cops there to get an insight into the murder case. She fails to find a sane cop, but then meets a cop, Doofy, who is mentally childish. The reporter tried her best to squeeze out information from him. Now we see Cindy in her class sitting and studying until she realizes there was a note on her desk. She then opens it and reads it, in which the person tells her about knowing the murder they had committed last Halloween. The principal called Cindy to his office, where the cop investigated her for knowing Drew. Later, we see Greg showering after a match. He finds a picture of his pecker in the locker, after which he gets angry and starts to call out whoever did it. He then met with the rest of his friends and accused Ray of clicking the picture. They argued, and Cindy told him that she also had gotten a note threatening her. Now we see the friends at a Miss World event in which Buffy had participated. She was on the stage where she got asked about her skills. She told them about her acting skills and proceeded to act. At the same time, her boyfriend Greg, who was up alone, had the killer behind him approaching him. Buffy saw him and screamed. Greg got alerted and tried to fight him off, but failed and got killed. Buffy tried to make the people around her aware of the situation, but they all thought that she was acting. She tried to help him, but went back to the stage and got crowned as soon as she got informed of winning. Cindy is now at home having a nice hot bath. She gets a call that she thinks is from the killer, but it was Bobby. She gets another call from who she thought was again Bobby, but it was the killer stating that he is in the house and will eventually kill her. Cindy went down in fear of where he might be and found him behind her couch with his legs exposed and told him of it. The killer got out of his position and told her to close her eyes and hide again. He then got out of there and started to chase her. She ran up and started to throw stuff at him, including her piano and even her grandmother. She then finally contacted the police. The killer escaped before the cops arrived. Bobby came and comforted Cindy until he accidentally dropped a knife and a pair of gloves, which freaked her out. She then went to the cops to give them the details. After meeting the cops, Buffy came and took Cindy with her to her home. The killer now called Shorty and asked if she was alone. Shorty's friend screamed, "What's up?" at him, and they replied the same way. Cindy is now at Buffy's place, where she again gets a call from the killer who tells her that Bobby wasn't the killer. The next day at the school, Bobby met Cindy and was disappointed in her for blaming him for being the killer. Cindy then met with Buffy and Brenda in the girls' locker room, where Buffy made fun of her. Cindy went to meet her coach while Buffy was left behind at the locker. The killer then approached her, whom she wasn't scared of and thought was just a joke. She did everything the killer expected when he later beheaded her and threw her head in the bin. Cindy again realized that Bobby wasn't present and that he might not be the killer.
What are you waiting for?
You!
We then see the interviewer at night catching the killer stabbing a girl. The killer started to chase the interviewer and kills them. Brenda and Ray are now at the movies, where he leaves for the washroom sometime later. He enters the washroom and finds a hole in the wall. He peeks through the hole and gets stabbed through his head. Brenda is enjoying the movie and reacting to it loudly, which made the audience hate her. The killer came and sat beside her and later stabbed her. All the audience, one by one, stabbed her. She then walked up to the stage with a slashed gut and died. The audience cheered at her death and proceeded to watch the movie. Cindy is now having a party at her place. A girl goes to the fridge in a mysterious room at Cindy's house to fetch some alcohol but gets killed by the killer. Cindy then again met Bobby and decided to finally couple with him. Shorty is in the basement with his buddy smoking pot when the killer arrived there. Next, the killer is seen smoking with them. They then started to rap. The killer's turn came and he rapped while swinging his hook and killing all of Shorty's friends. Cindy was in her room, finished with Bobby, when the killer came and stabbed him. She ran off with injured Bobby until Shorty came from the basement and told them of what had happened with his friends. Bobby then unexpectedly shot him with his gun and revealed that it was ketchup on him. Ray then came from the kitchen and told Cindy of also being the killer. They then told her of having no certain motive and then brought her father to frame him. Ray then stabbed Bobby to frame Cindy's father when the real killer arrived from the back and stabbed Ray. He then chased down Cindy, where this time she fought back and kicked him through her window. She then freed her father until the cops arrived. She went out and found out that the killer had fled. She went to report the incident again and figured out the killer was Doofy all along. They searched for him at the office, but he wasn't there. Now we see Doofy walking out of the police department and into the reporter's car while lighting up a cigarette and leaving. Cindy went out after him and found his bag with the mask and knife inside it. She screamed in pain until a car crashed into her and blew her away. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.